Good evening, everyone. I am Vishnu Jagtap, and in front of all of you, I am presenting the Money Control News headline. So, first of all, top gainer on Friday is Adani Imports, Titan Company, Bank of Baroda, Ambuja Cement. Then next, top loser, David's Lab, CG Consumer, Hind Copper, Metropolis. Then I comes to page number 4 in FII and DI activities. In that, FII on Friday sold out 932 crore rupees, whereas DII buys 1264 crore rupees. Then I talk about the key indies. In that, Nifty 50 today on Friday closed out 17,854 rupees, whereas Bank Nifty closes out 41,499 rupees. Then I talk about the total swing point today on Friday, that is 243 Nifty, and whereas Bank Nifty 830 points. It's a huge point, yeah. Then I talk about the sector indies. In that, only uh, seven sector closed at red and rest of all sector closed in green. That seven sectors are Nifty Pharma, Metal, Reality, Media, Energy, then Healthcare and Oil Gas. Then I talk about the on page number 7 in that economic calendar data. On tomorrow, on Monday, there will be no economic data for India. For US, 3 month bill auction data and 6 month bill auction data is coming. Then I talk about the page number 8 in that top news section. Under that, Uday Kotak on Adani issue. Don't see systematic risk to Indian financial system. Next, US visa. Indians can now get appointments at American missions abroad. Next, six interesting single males not made in Scotland. Next, Parvez Masraf, the man who waged war and then talked about peace. Next, NRI buys apartment in Mumbai's Morina house of rupees 83.37 crore. Next, Parvez Musarraf scripted Kargil but also came close to resolving Kashmir issue. Next, PM Modi to unveil Asia's largest helicopter factory in Karnataka tomorrow. Next, Tim Cook shout out for Vishal Bharadwaj film starring Ishan Kattar. Next, Budget 2023 analysis highlights rupees 2000 crore allocated for NRF foundation may be set up soon. Next, Google engineer laid off during vacation with family report. Next, model wearing tablecloth drags plates with food along on ramp walk. Next, China US spy balloon row top 10 developments. Next, Google is working on a quick delete feature for Chrome on Android. Next, filmmakers should be conscious of public sentiment should Yogi Adityanath. Next, child marriage AIDUF claims crackdown without framing rules. Congress questions failure of other government. Next, Google confirms search and maps AI event on February 8. What to expect? Next, these iconic actors break up later to girlfriend with will be auctioned. On page number 9 in personal finance section under that, Financial Minister Nirmala Sitharaman interview, tax rates can come down only after tax net widen. Next, all you need to know about EPF withdrawal leave encashment. Next, budget insurance move is about taxing investments, says Revenue Secretary. Next, Financial Minister Sitaraman interview. Moving to old pension scheme in is unwise. Next, new tax regime beneficially to everyone earning over rupees 50,000, 15 lakh CBDT head says. Next, what Union budget for 23-24 has for individual taxpayers. Next, Financial Minister Sitaraman interview in that new tax regime the future, old tax regime to stay. Next, decoding the income tax regime has budget 2023 frames it. Next, mutual fund in that why investing is last year's winner may prove to be dud. Next, tales from the new personal tax regime. Next, the biggest tax changes for the middle class. Next, why is this a good budget for salaried class, senior citizens, and small investors? Next, a growth budget that leads to lower deficit and capital expenditure should nudge RBI. Next, sticks to fiscal discipline, avoids being populist despite a year before elections. Next, a Bahubali that hit three targets with one shot, says Nilesh Shah. Next, Highest surcharge rate on income tax goes down. Will HNI benefits? On page number 10 in startup section under that Paytm quarter 3 revenue rises 42% to rupees 2062 crore rupees. Net loss narrows to rupees 392 crore. Next, Binance to stop wallet services to Zenmia Labs owned WazirX. Next, Financial Minister Nirmala Sitharaman interview. No funding winter funds waiting to see more innovative startups. Next, and group nominee on Paytm board of directors resign. Next, how budget 2023 benefits the middle class startups and MSME. Next, Amazon's surveillance packages for 18,000 laid off employees cost $640 million. Next, Unacademy to not do cash appraisals in 2023 will instead compensate with stock options. Next, Byju's lays off at least 1,000 more employees as sales falter, funding winter worsen. Next, the crucious absence of startups is budget 2023. Next, funding to Indian startups sinks to a 5-year low in January as funding winter worsen. On page number 11 in opinion section under that, a budget that keeps the spotlight on resource building. Next, maybe Apple's weakness is not just supply chain woes. Next, Mark Zuckerberg's new focus pulls Meta back from the brink. Next, budget 2023 disappointing for private investment in infrastructure. Next, tax changes in budget 2023 to boost composition and savings. Next, why battle tanks from NATO countries from Ukraine may not spark an immediate NATO Russia? Next, budget in that bonds jump in joy, stocks sulk. Next, how budget 2023 benefits the middle class, startups, and MSME. Next, larger companies make the most of new corporate tax regime. Next, welcome payments in a suspect currency. Next, global economy has turned the corner, but the negatives have not fully gone away. Next, old pension scheme not a game changer for 2023 assembly polls or 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Uh, SEBI badly needs to up its game. Next, tepid rural allocations unlikely to derail farm inputs demand. Next, oh Canada, warmer times for immigration in the Great White North. Next, making India the next research, innovations, and manufacturing hub of the world. Next, electoral compliance, growth, and fiscal prudence all get their due. Next, investors should keep lesser focus on relative valuations across sectors. Next, does the Bitcoin really mean crypto is back? Next, three questions without clear answers in budget. Next, learning losses during COVID cannot be compensated by the inadequate. Then I comes to page number 12 in business section under that. Filmmakers should be conscious of public sentiment, says Aditya Yoginath. Next, jobs galore gives US consumers firepower to fight off recession. Next, MCX quarter 3 net profit up 12.56 at rupees 38.79 crore. Next, on to commanding heights and every hillock in sight. Next, Adani's FPO pulls out has not impacted India's image. Financial Minister Sitharam. Next, I think 50% taxpayers will option for the new income tax regime, says Nirmala Sitharaman. Next, Voltamp Trans standalone December net sales rupees 357.47 crore up 13.5% year on year. Its end result you can read from the PDF. Next, on page number 13 in economy section under that, on to demanding heights and every hill rock in sight. Next, I think 50% taxpayer will option for the new income tax regime, says Nirmala Sitharaman. Food price set to fall has auctioned. Wheat reaches market, says government. Next, center rises windfall gains tax on crude, diesel, and ATF. All you need. Next, shift to exemption free tax regime would not hurt India's savings. Revenue Secretary. Next, Public FIs has have very small exposure to the Adani Group, no impact on deposit and policy holders. Next, expect sea of changes in tourism sector if proposal well executed. On page number 14 in politics section, under that, US military aircraft shoots down Chinese spy balloon over east coast. Next, government does not want discussion on issue it feels would embarrass it, claims Shashi Tharoor. Next, opposition leaders give adjournment notices in parliament. Six, decision discussion on Adani stock. Next, old pension scheme not a game changer for 2023 assembly poll or 2024 Lok Sabha election. Next, BJP using money from LIC nationalized bank to benefit some leaders. Mamta Banerjee. On page number 15 in international section, under that, world food prices declined for 10th month during month running in January, says FAO. Next, Tesla shipments of China made cars climbed 18% in Jan. Next, Boris Johnson brother Joe resigns as director of Adani linked firm. Next, China says working to verify reports to it flew spy balloon over US. Next, IMF giving Pakistan tough time over unlocking funds. PM Shehbaz Sharif says. Next, what do you need to know about the Chinese spy balloon floating over the US? Next, ECB plan for next big hike makes Christine Lagarde the last havoc standing. Next, Chinese spy balloon size of three buses spotted over US airspace. Next, China January services activity expand for first time in 5 months. Kexin PMI. Next, Grammy Awards 2023. Adele, Beyonce, Jay Z, key contenders. Check nominees list. That much for today. Thanks for watching.